Alright, we are recording. Overlays also continuing in Just Cause 2, and depending, might be able to finish it. The thing I'm a little worried about is my MacPad is acting up. The LEDs are flickering. When it's done that before, well, yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's been going so long without an. It's like there's a bad solder connection somewhere. Anyway, where am I going? I'm going down here. So let's actually head over there. Well, maybe there'll be a helicopter in. I don't quite remember the spot of it. Nope, don't see it. Okay, then let's head over there. Hopefully find a helicopter. There's a better shot of it happening. So as the news, I only have 3 things. Oh yeah, that's what the second was. I can remember the first and the third. I couldn't remember the second. Yeah, I can actually start with that. That's more the probably more the prescient news. Even though I don't have too much to say about it, but CDPR has shared. Well, they released a new update for Cyberpunk, version 1.6. That a lot of those changes I honestly don't know because I've not played the game yet. I also don't own a copy. That helps with the whole not being played. But it does include various changes concerning modding. It's part of the reason why I want to talk about it. Because I mean, it's always nice to see modding being supported, and among these changes is, like, I don't know exactly, but apparently there's like a red mod system or menu that'll be in the game, and it's like, hey, you can now put your mods in this folder if they will work with the system, and then the red mod system. It may sound like there's some mods that maybe because they're out of date or just because of maybe for other reasons that wouldn't. Oh wait, no, there is a helicopter. Now that I remember, at least I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe not. I thought that was. I guess it's just I'm always bringing one over. Oh, that's down here. You know what this would be? For one thing, it's in the right direction, and for another, it's actually got a good chance of also having a helicopter, even though it is a naval area. Yeah, so I don't know what that red mod system is, but it sounded like they added a new folder where you can put your mods in there, and that system will be able to work with that then. Yeah, I'm not certain, but my guess would be it's something like the ability to turn on and off mods within the game. But it is also, they added a command line option, command line argument, to disable or enable mods. Which that I could definitely see in some situations being especially useful. Like, after an update, in case the mods are not going to work right and break things. In some games, that's definitely yeah, let's just turn them all off. Yeah, like, it was interesting. I was seeing with OBS going to version 28, saw somebody complaining because apparently there's a mod that for the virtual camera that it allowed you to have like multiple things put together, multiple connections to camera. But the built-in thing in OBS doesn't support that. And this person was complaining. I saw on the forum basically saying how the OBS devs should have made sure that this works. And people point out, what are you talking about? It's not their project. It's whoever made the mod who isn't updating it. That's not on any OBS mod. But this is such an important and useful mod. They should have made sure. It's like, it's not on them. It's on the mod developer who's not doing anything. And there was even one person who was like, yeah, I use the mod too. I love it. And I'm not updating to 28 because of this. But that's not because of anything to do with OBS or their developers. I mean, I'm just one of those, yes, sometimes you do want to disable the mods. Sometimes you also want to avoid them. Or avoid an update because of things, which GOG does support the loading up of old versions. I don't know. I think with Steam that's not so enabled. I was like, if there's a branch for it there, you can go to that. A beta branch for it, you can go to that. But you can't, I don't think that's always an optional thing, whereas with GOG, well, maybe it probably actually is still optional. Well, here, let me quit. And hope that the game doesn't crash. It just could. Looking at GOG games I have installed. Sure. Load this one. Come on. There we go. Yep, not that. Probably be under X. No, I actually don't see it there. Oh, well, that might be why. Looking at The Witcher 3 Game of the Year. Let me try a different one. Okay, so, yeah, for Old World, which I also have installed, you've got Old World. Okay, that does look... Yeah, that is at the newest version for the offline backup installs, but you also have the separate patches. Maybe it's just for the early access games that I'm thinking. Where they do, in fact, you can go back to older versions. But I guess that could also just be something you have to enable. Though I could see that being easier than making another branch. It's just, nope, just keep these installers available. I can see that being simpler. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had an early access game on June. But yeah, so there are things there that tweaks to the modding there, and also the ability to just generically turn them on and off the command line. That's nice. They also shared a sneak peek at the expansion, Phantom Liberty, that's coming up, and Keanu Reeves is back as Johnny Silverhand. I don't think there's much more that I can say than that, unfortunately. Yep.
We have hostiles in the area. Sending all available units.
I really did not mean for that to happen, but okay.
Like a pig.
Who's bleeding like a pig? I haven't taken any damage. Boy, I wish this were Chippewa instead of... I don't remember which one. Anyway, there. Oh, I'm gonna be taking that. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we don't have much on that. It's to release in, well, next year, 2023. So we'll probably also get more details by then. New area in Night City, so we're staying in Night City, it sounded like. And also, new cast of characters, it said. You're still playing as V. It's not like that kind of thing. But there'll be different people around and different people to interact. Dropped in exactly on top. Now this might be. Yep. All right, now let's do the agent. What's up, Sheldon?
Rico Rodriguez delivers.
Don't tell me you found a hickory chip supplier.
We hit the jackpot, Sheldon. The Russian, Zhang Sun, and our Japanese ex-general They're all holed up in the Three Kings Hotel. And the best bit is, not one of them has any idea the others are there too.
The Three Kings, huh? I should have known. Hotel's got the best damn bar on Panau, and waitresses to match.
All the better for me to check in then.
Better book a twin, buddy. I'm coming too. About time I saw some action, Hyundai. Can't let you have all the fun.
I don't know about that.
There she is! The Three Kings! King can't be with us on this one. She'll be in conference with headquarters for a while, explaining what's been going on here.
Okay, you take care of this Zane character and I'll try to locate the Rusky. Get to it!
The next of the two things I have noted, AMD has released FSR 2.1, and they've also made some changes to the naming scheme. So now it should just be referred to as FSR 2.
What is this? Yeah, I'm the stupid American dog? I saw you coming a mile away, Agency Minion. Now, the true power of Chinese fireworks will be revealed.
Reporting hostiles in a sector. All units, intercept.
You are slow and stupid.
Ow. Oof. If not for that explosion, I actually would have survived that. But he is tough. Did you see him? How many hits he's taking? And, like, nothing's happening to his health?
There he goes!
Come on. Seriously, what am I stuck on? I hate that. Location, location, location.
Funny that, huh? We Chinese knew about it,
Knew about what?
and the Russians knew, and even the Japanese. But you Americans, you were in the dark.
I got a positive on the Russian, buddy. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, since you're not the one being shot at.
Now comes Hollywood to stake the claim. Too late, Buffalo Bill. Send me my tank. Now! Taste the wrath of Mother Russia.
Not really a tank.
Good going, amigo. Now get your ass over here. Your stop, buddy. Good luck.
Ow. That
I've got
really
your
hurt.
back, Kimasabi. I'll be right behind you in the chopper.
Whoop. Ow. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Those explosions are what killed me. Because they meant I couldn't avoid. I couldn't do anything about his gun. Had nothing whatsoever to do with his... Like, the gun is what killed me. Is what actually did all the damage. But it was only able to do the damage because of the claymores there. I don't remember if you're able to get them. I don't think so. Which does kind of make
Good
sense,
going,
actually.
amigo. Now get your ass over here.
You know, the kind of action game this isn't one that you'd have mind. Seriously, there's a shootout here. We got people walking around in their swimsuit.
Your stop, buddy. Good luck. I've got your back, Kimasabi. I'll be right behind you in the chopper.
You have no shot on me. Come on, that should be worth it.
Here comes the cavalry.
Sheldon killed me there. Because he shot the mine that then went off and hurt me. Because I wasn't near enough for that to trigger. It's the mines that are hurting me, not anything else. Sheldon, you should not have been shooting at me. Or at least shoot lower. And I know, he's stupid AI, but still. Alright, yeah, so episode 2.1. Various... Wait, what? I should not have actually done that. And that's why he's just leaving. Come on, there you go.
Your stop, buddy. Good luck. I've got your back, Kimasabi. I'll be right behind you in the chopper. Here comes the cavalry.
I will break your white wing!
Could really use a distraction, Sheldon.
I got your 6, buddy. Heads down.
I don't know where any of those explosions were coming from. There weren't any there, except for the one that was already behind me. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. Yeah, so with episode 2.1, lots of changes. Most of them, what they were describing were things that should help reduce ghosting. Which is good. I mean, that's always going to be an issue with a different temporal method.
Your stop, buddy. Good luck. I've got your back, Kimasabi. I'll be right behind you in the chopper. Move out! Move out! Here comes the cavalry.
I don't like these mines. I really don't. Especially since claymores are actually directional. It's like these are not. There was one change for episode 2.1, which was to change some of the stuff from half precision to full precision. So the result there should be more accurate colors, basically. But that half precision should be 16-bit, so it would be 1632-bit, which you wouldn't think that would make so big a difference, but I guess it can.
I've got your back, Kimasabi. I'll be right behind you in the chopper.
This. Wow, that is. I don't remember how I beat this, but that is definitely a problem. The fact that there seems to be no means by which to actually destroy the mines, except for being blown up by it. Sheldon, distract him, please. Now, like episode 1 and 2.0, it is open source. They updated the code. They also updated the plugins for Unreal. Sheldon, stop being useless. Come on.
Here comes the cavalry!
Yield to the power of the Russian bear!
I got your 6, buddy! Heads down!
Alright.
You may have beaten me, but not my homeland! Yeehaw!
We could have continued to use that, Sheldon.
Sheldon, I didn't know you still had it in you.
Rico, buddy, I'm as American as apple pie. And you know all real Americans hate commies. Our Japanese friend is still in his suite, preparing something nasty for us, no doubt. Get in there and take care of it.
AMD only showed on the GPU open page for one
Reporting hostile...
one example of the impact. It was in Farming Simulator, whichever. I don't remember which. Because it's different versions of it, I just don't. And the impact there was definitely significant. But also there were other differences, so it's not really that great. So like it was showing a tractor pulling, I don't know what it would be, a rake-like device it seemed, but pulling one of those behind it. And there was, clearly some aliasing for the rake. With version 2.0 and 2.1, it wasn't there. It was far better. But the issue is, like, to me, with the whole other things different, is if you looked, you would also see that, like, the tracks left by the tractor on the ground were different as well. It's like, why would that be different? And, like, in one they were there, and the other they weren't. So, now, true, that could just be difficulty in framing an identical shot, but, yeah. But still, like, used for the actual, why did I do that? I was not near enough for that.
Ah, finally you come! I thank you, Army Boy, for defeating my Chinese and Russian competitors! And also for allowing me a chance to test my impressive battery of satellite-controlled missiles! Who knew?
We have hostiles in the area!
Okay! Don't see you ring!
Alright.
I die. But you are none the wiser. The world's eyes turn towards Panau, but you remain in the dark. Indeed, America is now a blind monster, fighting without knowing why.
Get back here, Rico. I fixed you up a mean margarita. All 3 superpower heavies eliminated, and still time for a beautiful margarita. I'm betting whatever brought those boys Pan our way is the same thing that's made Baby Panay tear up his contract with Uncle Sam.
Figures. What now?
It's time for the big squeeze, Rico. You need them factions thinking you're their brother, while you take them apart from the inside. More trouble there is, the more likely that Baby's gonna show his hand.
And I've already got that
And
done.
that's when we break it off.
Alright. It should just be a new agent. Oh, I do have more... I do have more of these? I don't remember them being here before.
Okay.
Well, I guess I know what I'm going to be
Time
doing.
to cause enough chaos to smoke Baby out of hiding.
Ominous, huh?
Yeah, let's... I know they're over here, I don't know exactly where. So, airport! Yeah, they really should show. Yeah, so the third thing I have here. Just saw a rumor that supposedly the RTX 4090 will offer twice the performance of the RTX 3090. And all I can really say is, I don't think that's what we need to be caring about. And by that I mean, okay, that's great. Okay, I'm not downplaying that. I'm just...
The international players
They
are
are
on the field. But what the hell's their agenda? Still haven't figured it out. All I know is, we gotta nip it in the bud, hombre. They're only the forerunners. Soon they'll send for backup.
What I mean is that, let's actually work down with... Might mean clearing whatever that is for. It's like the Halo products, it doesn't matter if it's NVIDIA or AMD, but the Halo products, you can do things so that, yes, it's double the performance, it's also, double the power usage. We slapped on more RAM there and such, because, you don't need to care about price. It's a Halo product. Who cares if it's going to be $2,000, $3,000? It's irrelevant. What's more important is, what the 4080 might be, 4070, 4060, especially 4060. Those are the more important.
Do not be alarmed. Forces of insurrection are at work. All armed groups are illegal. Flags of roaches, reapers, and Yulars are banned. The chaos will be crushed and order restored. Our glorious leader has declared a state of emergency. Normal government will be resumed as soon as possible. Tonight's $1 billion lotto has not been affected, so tune in tomorrow to hear who is Panau's luckiest citizen.
Yep. So it's like the rumors that supposedly the mid-range Radeon 7000 series will be at the 4K level at the 6800 XT, at the 6900 XT. That's a much more significant rumor. If it is true, of course. With all rumors, it does come down to that. I need to be careful. There's going to be... Okay. Oh, right there. there's another one that is now behind me. That doesn't seem to be shooting at me, so I'm hoping that I got it. Okay, we're good now. Generator over here that Yep. And I do see that there's more over there, but I want to start. I mean, yeah, so the Halo product comparisons, it is interesting, but if it were a, hey, you know, yes, the 4090 is twice as powerful as the 3090, but hey, the 4060 is going to be on par with the 3080 Ti, that matters a hell of a lot more. Especially if pricing isn't insane. Which it could be. It is entirely possible that it could. Because, I mean, for me, it is one of those, and I've talked about this before, what I realistically need as far as performance would be in the 3060, 3070 range for the like 6700, maybe 6800 for AMD. Personally, I would rather go to something a bit higher, the 800 or 80 class. Although for AMD, I mean like the 6800, because that way I know I have, you know, some above that, some room above that. So the GPU can last for a long period of time. So to me, if it's like, hey, if they're gonna, you know, have, you know, 7700 Radeon 7700 XT that can perform at that level, but is gonna be in the $300-400 price range, then that's a bit different. It's like that will have my interest. But it is also, you do have, and I know I talked about this in one of the previous recordings, I just don't remember one, that there is a concern of how some of those are built. And by that I mean that sometimes the less expensive GPUs, the GPU itself is very powerful, but they pair it with things that are not. So, you know, like, yeah, you may have this excellent GPU in there, but it's only paired, but it's not paired with sufficient amounts of memory, or it's slow memory, it's set up to run at a much lower power level than you may prefer. Where some shot coming from? Whoops. Seriously. There we go. Now, to be clear about what I'm doing here, I do firmly believe that at least one of these missions may have me come, so by clearing it out now, that will make the mission. Also lets me know where things are, like how it's over here that I can find the minigun. Seriously? See that, but there's gotta be more than that. regret it if you do. That might be what it was.
Requesting air support!
That might be because I shot the... That because I engaged an AoE source, it might have been like, oh, we're gonna send those after you then. There it is. There.
Team on the way!
Well, nearly. Come on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We're good. Looks like the vote is... Yeah. Since there's no way to flip vehicles, it makes sense to actually try following.
Contact on my position!
Oh, and by the way, I'm still not, for anyone wondering, I'm still not upgraded. OBS 28. I'll give it a little bit more time. I did see that they did go to, they did release a hotfix, so 28.0.0.1 is out. There it is. But that's not the last one. Where is this last one?
Our glorious leader has declared war on all militant groups. Membership of Ulars, Roaches, and Reapers is now proscribed on punishment of death.
Ah. There we go. Now let's get my tank. And we will head over to
It's a
pick up that
tough
mission.
job, but somebody's got to do it.
Wow. It is smoking now because that thing opened up into... That's just one of those things that in QA somebody should have tried that. And it's entirely possible they were like, you know what, that's funny, we're gonna leave it. But I just... can only imagine, like, if I were doing the QA and I found that, I would have started laughing so hard. I'm completely serious. I just would have been laughing, because it's like, you can destroy a tank! Like, I would do that. I would do that. I wouldn't even report it just yet. I would actually set it up and record the video of destroying this tank just by, you know, backing up, going back forward, you know, like putting it into alignment to be hit, then removing it, well, hitting it, which pushes it out, going back, and just keep doing it until I actually destroy it. I would do that.
I am in pain. A boil is growing. Dishonest army men have created this infection. Help me destroy their base, and the pus will be expunged from my mind forever.
See? So I'm gonna have to go in there and just, like, destroy the commander now, but nothing else. Method to my madness. That's all I can really ask for. I mean, seriously, oh man, you have no idea some of my madness of late. I've been trying to change how I did some of the modularization for the CPU thermals applet, and when doing this I encountered a couple, and I reported them as bugs. Well, one is more of a feature, but one is actually a bug. There's some related documentation that is very confusing. But I also shared in there that I'm also kind of like breaking something because it's the only solution I could find to a problem. And it's just like, it's going to be interesting to see how this dialogue keeps going with somebody who is definitely far more master of this stuff than I am.
Time for the scalpel. Destroy those sailors. Land the boil for me. As the flames lick the sky, I laugh at how this angers the government.
There we go.
Okay, only one left.
Perfect. There we go.
And now the boil is gone, and my mind can rest.
Alright. Okay. Let's try for that. But, yeah, basically, an aspect of the modularization is supposed to be the use of namespaces, which it looks like how it works, at least in Shiny, is it adds a prefix to all the object ID in the namespace. It then also isolates them very severely, so that you cannot, from within a namespace, call something from outside the namespace. But it's also, you're not supposed to be able to call something from within the namespace from outside of it. I found out how to do the latter, and I'm taking advantage of that because, and I get the whole, that's not how you're supposed to do this, because it's like, no, you're supposed to have the setup where, you know, the output, where the functions produce the output, and you just do it that way. It's like, yeah, that, for one thing, some of that I couldn't actually get to work right, because part of it was, like, I needed the ability to alter the rounding in tables, but because of how I want that done so that it's not always forcing the table to be recalculated, so it's just a visual change, that would require passing a certain variable in, and never when I tried doing that did it work correctly. So I had to come up with this other solution that involved breaking the namespace. And it's just one of those I then needed to, you know, go on and do it kind of again. In a different way. Because the, part of the reason that it's, technically if I just gave up using namespaces, that would work well. That would also work. Wouldn't have any of these problems. But the namespaces are nice because it means, like, I can name something just table. And it'll be fine. It'll work, actually. And that can be repeated. That module can be called multiple times because the namespace name is different. So it's generating a unique ID for me without me having to actually do that myself. That's very handy.
Shook to their foundations today as foreign criminal organizations clashed in yet another violent battle for underground supremacy. The president responded to the violence by stating, if these creeps shoot each other like this, there will be nothing left of them for me to kill when they are done, which is a shame.
And that's... I want to be able to take advantage of that. So it's like, no, I am kind of stuck using namespaces, but their design does also prevent certain things that I want to be able to do unless I do it this way. So it's going to be interesting to see if I hear anything back from the guy, who, as I said, clearly much more master of this stuff than me. Like, he may have, oh crap, I didn't actually mean.
All units, we have reports of violence.
I was just hoping to grab onto something to help me get there faster. Yeah. And I actually still have some other things, because I also found, actually what was the main thing about that bug report was documentation being very confused. So the way the namespace stuff works is you have to give it, well, it takes, the function involved takes two arguments. One is the namespace, the other is labeled ID. It's for the object ID. So like for the CPU temperature stuff, namespace might be temp, and then ID might be table. I actually don't use it specifically as table, but you get the idea. Well, in the documentation that describes how to use namespaces, or rather how to modularize the code, which involves namespaces, the object name it uses for what you pass to this function, and that ID, by the way, is optional in the function itself, is an optional argument, but the name that they're using is ID. It's referring to the namespace argument, though. So it's actually very confusing.
Now is in a state of complete chaos.
There, I don't care.
My business in the Selatan archipelago is bleeding from its very anus, just like me. Why, you ask? Because of a recently erected statue of baby Panay. Just by standing there, it makes the people less prone to indulge in prostitution, hard drugs, and gambling. You can see why I want that statue gone, eh? When you've torn it down, I want you to bring the statue's head to my loyal captain in the area. He can use it as a garden decoration of some sort.
I thought he already did a mission like that. Anyway, okay, and I am in control. Yeah, and I've gotten most of that modularization done. There are some other things I want to do, including going through and renaming that object ID, because it shouldn't be ID. I'm going to use name, because I think that that's clear enough when looking at the documentation. And I did kind of point that out to the guy, because he was suggesting, like, you know, putting in the description for the namespace argument, calling it an ID there, and it's like, no, really it should be the documentation on modularization, which is separate, and is also somewhere else. That's what really needs to be changed. Because, I mean, that is the problem. And also the whole drop, he also suggests, like, just dropping the documentation on the ID argument, and it's like, I mean, I can kind of understand that, but I was also like, I'd actually kind of prefer if you could figure out a way to, like, codify how I'm queuing into these namespaces to get things that I'm not supposed to get. And this function could facilitate that if it would change how it works a little bit. Well, actually, I say a little bit in that it would appear simple. I know it is not going to be. I mean, there is enough to complicate that. That, yeah, I know.
Demolish it! We have a visual! Requesting backup!
The hell are you talking about? There we go.
Now bring the head to my capo. He will appreciate the gesture, no doubt.
There we go. But yeah, one thing that has kinda sorta impressed me when doing some of the stuff with the shiny code and all is I do kind of wonder how much of what I'm doing is well beyond the scope of what the developers thought anyone would do. Like having a situation where, yeah, I want to do this modularization, but at the same time, I need to be able to have it watch something that's not within these namespaces. And I need, because in theory, I'm supposed to be able to pass it in as an argument. I've tried that, it doesn't work. By the way, I'm going up to try to avoid the helicopter behind me. Okay, that looked like it. No, it still is getting very close to that. There it is. It knows exactly where I am, so I'm just gonna run this down and hope I can get there before it shoots me down. Even if it isn't, as I said, I would love it to be codified what I'm doing. But even if it isn't, even if that can't happen, there's a problem that's also like, this is something I could put on a resume where it's like, you know, because for people that work with Shiny, I could believe that some of this is like, wait, you figured out how to do what now? Why? And it's like, why are you ever in a situation where you want to use that? It's like, well, because I'm trying to do this and this and this.
Enjoy the sight of our decapitated panai with this coffee every morning.
No. Okay. Oh. Well, I will just... Oh. I didn't even know I could do that. That's actually a lot safer. And now this, which I'm probably gonna have to destroy, clear out the area right next to it. Which is only a town, so it shouldn't actually be that bad. It does look like they have a statue, though. Start shooting at that. Oh no, wrong step. There we go.
Ouch! That's gotta hurt the big man's ego.
Alright, there. Now let's deal with this. That thing should not be going through the trees like that. There we go. Alright, so now I can land this, pick that up, the mission, and I'll probably stop after that. I don't know how long I've been going. It's probably... It might already be close to when I want to stop. Yeah. It definitely is. So I'm just going to do this mission so I know I'm set up for next time focusing on agency. But seriously, have these missions always been here?
I have been poisoned.
And I just never saw them?
Poisoned by lies and deceit and the so-called free press. The press, it has turned out, isn't free at all, but rather expensive. And sometimes the press isn't even for sale. Such is the case with this poisonous reporter from Singapore who is doing a piece on corruption in Panau. I have not been able to bribe him, so now he must die. Would you administer the antidote, Scorpio?
Helicopters easier than... Although this is in very bad shape. But it's also, even if I don't make it on this try with the helicopter, when I come back I'll have that boat. And it does have a decent gun on it when it can't. So, yeah.
He is taking off in a boat! Kill the coward! Alert! Reports of hostile in the area! All available units respond! I am pleased, Scorpio. The antidote was administered to good effect. I am well again, and the free press of Singapore will have learned a valuable lesson.
There we go. Alright. I don't see any other pulsing, so we're good. Guess I could just... Well, no. I thought that would... Oh. I'm gonna save and stop there, so I should spawn right next to the, thing. The mission. The hell? What was the explosion from? Saving and stopping. So yeah, I guess next week will... I guess it... Well, I guess that there will still be like 2 or 3 recordings left. Because I don't know how many agency missions are left. And I need to do something here. It's not closing properly, but I can just stop. Oh, there we go. Now close. Alright. The game wasn't shutting down quick. So, yeah. So I'll just stop the recording now, get it processing, and see you next time.